So, something that deserves much more attention is what the right wing is currently doing to consolidate their power with the use of religion, and in particular Christianity, to cement their authority and rile up their base to action. We've seen this with the right wing crusades against abortion and gay rights, and now we're starting to see a more extreme version of that with Trump's backers, both in the media and in government, essentially calling for holy war. Now, I want to show you a few clips just from the past couple weeks where elected officials and media personalities are essentially calling for the use of the Bible as a mandate to govern. First, here's Oklahoma State Senator Dusty Devers just this week calling on Christian men to go to war for Jesus.
Jesus, your warrior king, has summoned you. He has commanded your formation for battle. Line up, men. Your charge is to fight the king's battle with the king's weapons, to fight on his battlefront, to make offensive war on the gates of hell, and to prevail, to push the lines ever forward, to extend the dynasty and the dominion of our King who rules from on high, and every enemy will bow. He will footstool every enemy, and this world will be dominionized, and it will glory reflect like the waters cover the sea. The world will be conquered, and the conquerors will sit with King Jesus on his throne. Amen. Men, it is no time for shrinking back. Know this, you will suffer. You will be called to share in the sufferings of our King, but they cannot be compared to the eternal weight of glory that is to be revealed to you. In your groaning, you will grow. In your mourning, you will hope. In your struggle, you will triumph. So keep your eyes on our loving, crucified, but resurrected warrior king, Jesus.
Now, I want to show you a couple more clips from recent government and media leaders calling for biblical rule just this week. But first, I want to show you why they feel so emboldened. The former president and his most ardent supporters in Congress have made it very clear. They want one religion, Christianity, to rule this country and essentially do away with freedom of religion in America. Here's what the former president said about prayer in schools in a recent speech.
Freedom to worship does not end at the door at a public school, and I supported school prayer, very important, school prayer, which we unfortunately had to force into some schools. It should be very easy. You would think it would be very easy, but it wasn't, but we did it.
To hell with freedom of religion and religious practice, we're going to force prayer back into schools. Remember when Trump was president, he put Betsy DeVos as his education secretary, who said it was her duty to build the American education system in the image of God's kingdom. Now, here's what Marjorie Taylor Greene had to say about Christianity and Christian nationalism.
We need to be the party of nationalism, and I'm a Christian, and I say it proudly. We should be Christian nationalists.
They're not hiding what they want. They don't want separation of church and state. They want biblical rule. Now, here's Texas State Representative Matt Schaefer, who just said that the right-wing Christians have the biblical mandate to rule.
You know, that is the first biblical command for all rulers and all persons in authority is to worship God. It's all over the Bible. Look at the cycle of Israel and all the kings and the rulers that came along, and they obeyed and had blessing, and then when they disobeyed, they had curses. But the overriding command to every person and every king, every state rep, every county commissioner, doesn't matter what level, that is to worship God and to love him. And if you're not doing that, then you're out of his will, because all government is established by God. And if you're not doing it his way, then you're in disobedience. There's only two courses. There's obedience or rebellion. And those are really the only two options for any elected official.
From the lowest levels of state government, county commissioners, state representatives, up through the White House, again, they want the Bible to shape public policy. Here's what he had to say about their biblical obligation to intervene in issues of abortion.
When a woman has gone into a Planned Parenthood clinic and she's sitting in the waiting room and she's filling out the paperwork and she signs that bottom line, that consent for that doctor to kill her child and puts the pen down on the clipboard and hands it back to the nurse, in that moment, that child has become an orphan because no earthly mother or father stands there to protect that little girl or little boy anymore. And so as Christians, we have a biblical mandate to visit the orphan in their distress. And we do that through public policy. We do that through our elected representatives. How can you neglect that? How can we neglect the orphan inside the mother's womb when we have a chance to vote on people who will decide whether that is legal or not?
It's pretty straightforward. They believe and state their beliefs explicitly that women exercising their reproductive freedoms implicates their biblical right, their biblical mandate to intervene and take control of a woman's body. And here's Eric Metaxas, a nationally syndicated radio host who was actually the keynote speaker at the 2012 National Prayer Breakfast in Washington, D.C., which was actually attended by then President Obama and Vice President Biden, as well as members of Congress, saying that it's your duty to God to vote for President Trump.
And so people kind of say, well, wow, I don't want to dirty my hands and vote for Donald Trump or whatever. That is childish. That's virtue signaling. And God will judge you for sitting on your hands when his people are, hungry.
Look, there's a reason Faith and Freedom, an evangelical right-wing organization, just announced they're going to spend $62 million helping to get Trump elected. And how do they plan to do that? By organizing evangelical churches to vote. This is why Trump and Republicans are so extreme on abortion and social issues. They want to rile up those voters who think Trump was sent by God to implement his agenda. It would be funny if it weren't so serious. These people look less like passionate religious leaders and more like the American Taliban. And they have allies in the highest echelons of government. Trump knows that they're a major part of his constituency. That's why he holds the Bible high.
I brought my Bible.
Despite not being able to cite one Bible verse.
Okay. You mentioned the Bible. You've been talking about how it's your favorite book. And you said, I think last night in Iowa, some people are surprised that you say that. I'm wondering what one or two of your most favored Bible verses are and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. When I talk about the Bible, it's very personal. So I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into.
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite?
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Even to cite a verse that you like?
No, I don't want to do that.
You're an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Probably equal. I think it's just an incredible. The whole Bible is an incredible. I joke. Very much so. They always hold up the Art of the Deal. I say my second favorite book of all time. But I just think the Bible is just something very special.
It is all about power. Churches are the most disciplined voting bloc. You organize a church to go vote with buses and a clear mandate for Trump. You can guarantee that 100% of those going to vote from that church are going to vote for Trump because they literally believe it's their duty to God to do so. And that's terrifying. While Republicans have always used religion to justify the way they legislate, we've not had people in Congress like Marjorie Taylor Greene in the past who are explicitly calling for the United States to be a single religion country, Christian nationalists, as she says. And Trump knows it very well. This is a tremendous source of political power for him. It's why he holds the Bible high despite never having read it. We're going to continue bringing you all the latest in Republicans' attempts to destroy everything this country was founded on and cares about. Be sure to like, subscribe, and set notifications. With Really American, I'm Justin Horwitz. Thanks.